morning. Welcome to First Edition, the online ministry of First Community Church. My name is Glenn Miles. I'm the senior minister here in this amazing congregation, and we are thrilled that you've joined us on this day for worship. We want you to know, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe, or even what you don't believe, you are welcomed and accepted as you are in this place. Right now, we've got a QR code up on the screen for you. Take a moment, would you please, to register your attendance, share a prayer concern. We'd love to be in prayer with you. You can even give to the offering if you choose to do so in this way. Today, I'm presenting part 2 of my Advent sermon series, Dreaming with the Angels. We're listening to the prophet Isaiah, who lived about 700 years before Jesus, who was preaching at a time when Judah was in terrible conflict, political pressures from many different sides. And he could see that things were not going to go well for Judah. And he began to dream of what it might be like to have a king who would lead toward justice, toward righteousness, where the least of these, as Jesus calls them, would be fed and cared for, when the people who've been pushed off to the margins too often would be brought back into the center and be a part of God's universal and accepting love and family. It's a beautiful text, one where he says that someday a little child shall lead them. That child represents both divine strength and divine vulnerability. When the church looked back at Isaiah after getting to know who Jesus was, they saw a reflection and heard an echo of who Jesus is and the teachings and preachings that he brought into their community that started the church. Powerful, beautiful text. I can't wait to share it with you. We have some inspiring music for you, so let's begin with them first.
All of your ways are peace. All of your ways are peace. Though we are pressed on every side, we trust that you are peace. All of your ways are true. All of your ways are true. Though we have heard so many lies, we trust your words are true. All of your ways are just. All of your ways are just. Though we may say it through our tears, we trust that you are just. All of your ways are peace. All of your ways are peace. All of your ways are peace.
I'm wondering today if we're able to consider new possibilities in our lives. No matter where you are right now, no matter what you're facing, no matter what issues you have going on, whether everything's perfect and wonderful, or things are difficult and harsh, or you're somewhere in between like many of us seem to be, I wonder if we can consider the new possibilities that maybe the Spirit of God wants to work within us. Or is that too difficult? Sometimes hopes and dreams are broken. And so rather than dream of what might be, we just push the dream aside and don't let it become real, because it might be broken. It might not come true. Some of you remember what Carly Simon sang. I had some dreams. They were clouds in my coffee. clouds in my coffee. Maybe you don't know who Carly Simon is, but the image makes sense, doesn't it? I just realized I'm getting old. We know the image, though. It makes sense. Sometimes our dreams are just like clouds in our coffee. They're here and then they're gone. The Old Testament writer of the book of Ecclesiastes knew about this. Sometimes we call him Koheleth. Sometimes we call him the preacher. He was a philosophically serious person. And he's the one who wrote, "Vanity of vanities, all is vanity." He's describing life. The Hebrew word for vanity is chebel. It literally means the mist that forms on the ground in the morning, the dew that's on the grass in the morning, and by the time the sun reaches its noontime spot, the mist is gone. Our lives, he says, are like steam on the mirror. It's here, and then it's over. Okay, now I know it's December, and it's Advent, and it's the most wonderful time of the year. And I'm not exactly starting out with a happy and peppy sermon. At least it doesn't feel that way to me. And we're getting ready for the Christmas musical. It's going to be wonderful. And Sarah's probably already figured out how are we going to herd all those people at the Christmas pageant, at the family service on Christmas Eve. No one leads the Christmas service, the family Christmas service on Christmas Eve. It's just a matter of trying to keep them all going in the same direction. There's parties and plans going on. Julie and I are celebrating a variety of things. In fact, by the way, where's Julie? She's there. I got to tell you this. I'm only going to say this at the 9 o'clock service. Today is the 50th anniversary of our first date. I took her to McDonald's. I had enough money for 2 Cokes and a small fry. So our lunch today is going to be 2 Cokes and a small fry. By the way, I tried to hold her hand. She pulled her hand so quickly out of mine, I thought she pulled the muscle in her arm and needed surgery. So all that's going on, and yet I feel like we need to name the melancholy in our culture. There's a sort of a mean-spirited name-calling and bullying and othering that just seems to hover over everything we do and say. And frankly, it's exhausting and overwhelming at times, isn't it? And so in some ways, it feels like maybe our Advent preparations are just wishful thinking. There's a line from Howard Thurman, the brilliant Christian mystic, who wrote in a piece of poetry, "When the song of the angels is stilled, the work of Christmas has begun." I've always loved that piece of poetry. That means when the angels have done singing, when the Christmas Eve service is over, when the packages have all been opened, when the meal's been enjoyed, mom and dad and grandpa and grandma and everybody else have traveled back to wherever they're from, that's when the work of Christmas begins. Okay, peace on earth. We sang about it. Let's make it real. Let's work toward it. But somehow this year, maybe it feels a little less like that. It feels more like when the song of the angels is still, just pack up the boxes, take them to the attic, bring them out a year later, and just keep our heads down. And for goodness sakes, don't hope for anything. Don't dream of anything. And yet, here's this text that comes from a time of great conflict in Judah. A time that Isaiah knows it has the potential to be filled with war and violence and destruction. The end of all of Jesse's and David's dreams of what Israel and Judah might become. And yet he has this dream that speaks a word not just to us individually, but even maybe to us as a church. Are we willing to be open to new possibilities, to new ways of thinking, to not just be stuck in the past, but dream that maybe God is doing something new and amazing in the life of our church, maybe in the life of our country, maybe in the life of our world? Is it possible to let that dream feel as though it's alive, feel as though it's real and possible? I mean, look at the story that we're celebrating. Joseph and Mary, poor, vulnerable, homeless. It's through them that God brings the light of Christ into the world. You would have expected that maybe that would have happened in Jerusalem through Herod's lineage or through Pontius Pilate, or one of the governors of Palestine at that time, or maybe it would happen in Rome or Athens or Alexandria, Egypt. No, it happens in the middle of nowhere, in the darkness the light shines. Can we see the dream is alive? That the possibilities are there? Thurman said something else, and I want you to hear his words. Let's put it up on the screen. There must be always remaining in every life some place for the singing of angels, some place for that which in itself is breathless and beautiful. Howard Thurman was a black pastor, an amazing, brilliant Christian mystic. There must always be remaining in every life some place for the singing of the angels. He was a prophet in his own way. In other words, no matter what is happening in the world, and he grew up in the shadow of the Jim Crow laws, in the midst of them, frankly, and yet he still had this beautiful dream to remain open to the singing of angels. Think about it for a moment. Last week, some of you were here for the sermon. I'm sure some of you weren't. But Isaiah chapter 2 is Isaiah's initial dream. He names the judgment against Judah, but then he dreams of a new world that might be coming. He sees that happening in his immediate future, and he also says, no matter what's happening, let's walk in the light of the Lord. It's a beautiful promise. Then we get to Isaiah chapter 11, and as I mentioned in the description of the scripture, the introduction to it, he now sees that there's probably no chance that his dream will come true in his lifetime, and yet he still dreams. He still describes the peaceable kingdom, that beautiful language of the lion and the calf feeding together, of a little child, vulnerable, who leads. When the earliest church looked back at that text, they said, oh, we see in there a reflection of the Christ child, of the Jesus story. Jesus grows from a little child to being this brilliant rabbi, teacher, so much so that they even start calling him the Son of God, the Messiah. And they see a reflection of that in Isaiah. In many ways, then, the Christ child is the image of divine vulnerability and divine strength. Two sides, as it were, of the same coin. And in his life, we see hope for our future. I love the line, the lion and the calf shall feed together. Popular culture has picked up on that kind of imagery. We can hear it all kinds of places, and oftentimes people are quoting Isaiah, and they don't even know they're talking about what Isaiah said. And it's a beautiful, it's a sense that, yes, biblical imagery actually still helps us, even when we don't know that it comes from the Bible. Some of you seen the movie Ghostbusters? Came out a long time ago. It still gets played quite a bit. I think we're on the 4th or 5th or 10th sequel. I don't know. I can't keep up with that. But the original one, which was the best, there's a time when Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray are in the mayor's office in New York City, and they're trying to explain to him that what's going on. And then Dan Aykroyd is saying, this is Old Testament biblical stuff. Things are weird that are happening out there. I've never seen stuff like this before. And then Bill Murray says, do you remember the line he says? I mean, Mr. Mayor, it's dogs and cats living together. It's a great line. He delivers it very well. Theologically, it's completely wrong. Because dogs and cats living together, actually, he's using it as the end of the world. Dogs and cats living together is actually a sign of the peaceable kingdom. How many of you ever had a dog and a cat who lived together peaceably and actually seemed to like each other? You had, we had some in our house too. You had, in those moments, an image of the dream of Isaiah. You had a picture of what God is dreaming for all of us. The predator and the prey will live together. A child can play over the den of a snake without fear. And a little child, vulnerable yet strong, will lead us. It's a way for the prophet to say, hope is alive. Hope is real. Hope can carry us forward in even the most difficult of times. And yet, you know what Red said, right? In the Shawshank Redemption. Hope is a dangerous thing because sometimes our dreams and our hopes can be broken. Many of you know that my father was a pastor and that he was a pastor at First Christian Church in San Francisco for 13 years. It was in many ways for my dad a dream come true. Our family's roots go back to 1849 in the gold rush when I think it was my great-great-great-grandfather arrived in San Francisco to look for gold. That was really hard. He quit that after a day and established another business and did quite well. And so our family always dreamed of somehow landing back in San Francisco. And when we did, it really was a dream come true for all of us. And my dad's church was at the corner of Duboce and Noe. You probably don't know it. It's a small little neighborhood in San Francisco. And right across the street from the church, there was a park. It was called Duboce Park. And if you just looked at it, when we first saw it, when we moved there, it looked like a very pleasant place. But all you had to do was walk across the street to the park, and almost every day you might see some drug paraphernalia on the sidewalk. There was always dog droppings, can I say it that way, in church? Everywhere. No one cleaned up. It wasn't a safe place to walk through at night. I remember seeing somebody getting knocked down and a knife pulled. The person ran away, but it was a frightening thing. My dad's dream was that someday through that church, Duboce Park would be a safe, clean place where families would gather and play and enjoy each other, where anyone could walk through it at night and not be in danger, where the rest of the neighborhood, which was pretty dilapidated in those days too, might be revitalized and grow again and become a thriving, vibrant, loving community. And then my dad's addictions just took over. I want you to know, he was fired, but the church sent him to rehab 3 different times. The church was amazingly gracious. But when we finally found out how real the addiction was, it was hard for us. I was in my 20s. Julie and I were already married. It was very, very hard for us. And I remember feeling very, very angry at my dad. I bought the dream. I hoped with him. And then in 2023, 2 years ago, when I was on sabbatical, Julie and I went back to San Francisco. And we spent a few days in San Francisco, and then we rented a car and drove down the coast, down to LA and out to Orange County, down to Orange County, where we spent some time with my mom. It was a beautiful 8 or 9, 10-day trip. But our first day was in San Francisco, and once we checked into the hotel, we went downstairs and jumped on a streetcar and went to Duboce and Noe, at the corner of Duboce and Noe, where my dad's church was. Mostly we were going back there because that's where we got married in 1979. And we just wanted to go back to the roots of our marriage and kind of celebrate a little bit, maybe have some champagne later. As we jumped off the streetcar, I looked out at Duboce Park, and I could tell immediately it was different. The basketball court that was in terrible shape had a brand new court, glass backboards. The playground was painted and bright, and there was a dozen children playing there, 4 and 5-year-olds, and surrounded by parents who were watching them. And then in the park itself, there were families picnicking. I wanted to run out and go, "Hey, did you look on the ground first?" I mean, and not only that, they were Hispanic and Asian and black and white. People were walking their dogs, saying hello. There's a whole Duboce Park organization that's grown up, that takes care of the park, that makes sure, these are volunteers, to make sure it's kept well and landscaped beautifully. And I had tears in my eyes, and I looked at Julie. And I said, Dad's dream came true. He was broken by life. He was wounded and scarred. Some of the wounds were his own fault. Some of them happened when he was a child. We only know hints and ideas of what he went through. He was broken. And yet, the dream was true. The dream was real. Judah was broken, wounded, scarred. Isaiah's dream, though, was real. Palestine at the time of Christ was overrun by an oppressive regime, brutal, murderous, and yet the dream of Jesus was real. I've been wounded and scarred, some of it because of my own stupidness, some of it unfair. I know enough of you, and I'm sure the rest of you have wounds and scars. And yet this dream is still real. The question is, are we willing to live in the light of it? As we said last week, can we walk in the light of God's love? Can we walk in the light of this dream? Can we let this dream take a hold of us, transform us, renew us? Can we as a church not be stuck in the past, not be unable to see tomorrow and the future and what God might be doing for us, but to actually dream about it, hope for it, live for it? Is it possible that someday the dream of God might actually be real, if not around the world, at least within our community of faith? I had some dreams, but I tossed aside the coffee and I listened instead to the voice of the Spirit, which echoes across 2,700 years, saying to us, a little child will lead. Let's follow in that pathway. Amen.
The earth cries out, nothing feels right. The world cries out, no justice in sight. Fires burning everywhere. Too many, too hot, too bright. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for the Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. The child cries out, don't turn out the light. Broken hearts cry out, no end of hurt inside. Greed and guns rule everywhere. Too many, too strong to fight. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for that Gloria in excelsis Deo. Oh, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Oh, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Let us be a sign of hope. Let us be your arms of love. Let us be the ones that say there is another way. Let us be a sign of hope. Let us be your arms of love. Let us be the ones that say there is another way. We are waiting for you. You are waiting for us too.
I trust that the message was helpful to you about being open to the possibilities God has in front of you. Whether you're 4 years old or 94 years old or somewhere in between, we can always dream with the angels, dream with Isaiah, even dream with God. We're going to put that QR code back up there for you for just a moment. We'd love for you, if you haven't yet, to register your attendance, give us a prayer concern, and would you take maybe an extra moment to prayerfully consider making a financial gift to First Community. As you can imagine, we want to spread the love of Christ as far and wide as we possibly can. Your gifts will help us spread that love. In the meantime, I hope you have a blessed and beautiful week.